Hi, my name is Billy Flowers, and welcome to my channel where I talk about velocity banking and how we can use this strategy to massively pay off debt. And before we get started, don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button. So I took a little break. I was on a mini vacation. I'm in a bowling league with my dad. Yeah, I bowl, and we're in a league that we take a yearly trip to we take a yearly trip to Vegas every year, and this year wasn't too bad. It's a pretty big tournament in Vegas. We bowl at the Orleans. They have a bowling alley there, and there's 215 teams, and we didn't do too bad. We ended up coming in 16th place. Yeah, 16th place, and what wasn't too bad. We had a lot of fun. Yeah, well, we both pretty good. Our first game wasn't too great. To get any money in this tournament, you need to get a total of 2,700 pins or more. Throughout your three games. They're four-man teams. And our first game, we had like a 700 series. I only bowled like a 178. I had a 201 average. For the tournament, and it wasn't too great. So we were kind of down the first game, but then we came back and said we just need to improve. So the second game, we improved. I know I ended up bowling a 215, and our series. Our series that game was we're in the 900, for the total pins in that game, and then the last game, whew, that last game, I mean, we were all on fire. We all had 200 games. I had a 264. One of my other teammates, he had a 266. My dad, he was like at a 220, and then our anchor bowler, he was like at a 215. We had over 1,000 pins of total pins for that game. So that put us, we were around like 27. I think we're in the 2740s, and so we ended up coming in 16th place out of 215 teams. So I'll take it. Two of our bowlers. It's not going to be with us next season, so it was a good send off for them. So I had a really good time, and of course I miss doing these videos for y'all, but I had to take a little time off, take a little me time, and I had a good time. But now it's time to get back in this game and show y'all we need to pay off some more debt. And today I got a good scenario for you. So let's get started. So we got a couple here that they make pretty good money, and they're pretty conservative with their money too, and they already have pretty good cash flow. So I wanted to show you a scenario where when you have really good cash flow, you can fly through a bunch of debt. So let's get started. So we have our four key numbers as always. We have an income of $11,500. Our expenses are at Their expenses are at $8,250. They have debt of $111,823.50. And they have a cash flow of $3,250. Yeah, that's right. $3,250. That's good cash flow right there. And they also have a debt tool. They have a line of credit for $20,000 at a 15% interest rate. And that will generate around an $800 a month payment. And when you look at this line of credit, it's like there's no way that you can get a line of credit for 20,000. Yes, you can. There's banks that offer that much. There's banks that offer up to $40,000. There's banks that offers $30,000, $25,000. I know my credit union, they top out at $25,000. I mean, even my parents, they have one for this much right here too, $20,000. So yeah, it's possible. And we have our car payment here, which is a 2025 Chevy Suburban one of those rally sports. Those rally sports. You can tell what they are by just looking at the back of it, and then they have those black bow ties. Yeah, one of those rally sports, and it's a $86,000 vehicle with a 4.85% interest rate, and they have a term for 84 months or 7 years. Yeah, that car payment is $1,221. Ain't that crazy? This is only on $86,000. You imagine some of these people rolling around in these Escalades that cost over $100,000. That cost more than some people pay for their house, especially if you live back east or in the Midwest. $1,221.05 a month for a monthly payment on a car. That's insane. But hey, when you got to do what you got to do. I mean, it's a nice vehicle. They got good income. They're pretty conservative, with their bills, so they deserve to get what they want. But they also have 3 credit cards. You got 2 credit cards at $10,000, and then they have 1 credit card for $5,000. The two $10,000 credit cards have $400 a month payments, and then the $5,000 one has a $250 monthly payment. So what we gonna do? You know what us velocity bakers? We gotta get rid of the consumer debt first, capture this cash flow, so then we can work on on that suburban. You know what I'm saying? Uh, my bad. It's not a suburban. It's a Tahoe. It's not a suburban. This is a Tahoe. And of course, down here down here we have the line of credit, the interest that you'll get charged per year if you only paid the minimum monthly payment. That will be $2,250. You broke that down by the month, that will be $187.50 and $6.16 per day. So before we get started paying off this Tahoe, Chevy Tahoe, we got to take care of these credit cards. So what are we going to do? What are we going to do? Well, I'm not going to use the whole line of credit, so we're just going to use $15,000 of it. And what that's going to do is that's going to let us pay off one of these credit cards. So one of these credit cards is one for $10K, and it's going to let us pay off that $5K credit card. So that means that we no longer are going to have this monthly payment right here. This monthly payment is going to be, well, I'll do this credit card number 2. This monthly payment is going to be gone. Then that monthly payment is going to be gone. So what's going to happen? Let me get my notes. Since this board is filled up, I'm just going to have to erase. So what that's going to do is now we no longer have these 2 payments, right? This $400 and this $250 payment. So that's $650 of payments that we no longer have. So that means that our expenses are going to go down $650. So let me write our new expenses up here. What's it going to be? What's the new expenses going to be? So that's going to lower our expenses all the way down to $7,600. Mm-hmm. And then what else is gonna happen? You know what I'm about to say. We're gonna get some more cash flow, right? Of course. Now we're gonna get $650 more of cash flow. So what is that gonna put our cash flow at? What is that gonna put our cash flow at? Let me see here. That's gonna put our cash flow at $3,900. $3,900. That's what we're gonna be working with when we're gonna be paying off this first $15,000. So let's see how this is gonna work. So we have our line of credit out in month 1 of $15,000, right? Then we're going to have our income. Oof, that income of $11,500 going into the line. It's going to drive that balance, look at that, all the way down to $3,500. Then, of course, we put that 11,500 in. Then we're going to take our expenses right back out. 7,600 of that is going to come out to pay our expenses. And then it's going to raise the balance back up to $11,100. And then we're going to get charged $187.50 in interest off of this high balance, right? That's going to put us at $11,287.50 at the end of month one. Now, already, since this number is less than what we're putting in, we're already going to do the flip already. We're not even going to waste no time. So what I'm going to do is going to have the expenses come out first, and then our income going second, just on the board, so you can see the numbers better, and you can see the line going all the way down to zero. Less math, less room for errors. So we're going to have the expenses come out first of $7,600. It's going to raise that balance up to $18,887.50. Now you might be asking yourselves like, "Oh, we're getting a little close to that $20,000 limit." But remember that all of your bills are not going to come out all at once. We still have our income sitting, waiting to pay our bills as they come out throughout the month. We're just not doing we're just not going to have all your expenses come out on the first of the month and then you're just going to have your income going in. It doesn't work like that. So this bounce is never going to get that high, but just on the board for visual purposes, you're just seeing the numbers. So then we're going to have all the income going in at 11,500. It's going to drive that balance down to $7,387.50. See, that looks a little better. Then we're going to have $141.09 in interest getting charged, raising that balance up a little bit to $7,528.59 at the end of month two. Then month three rolls around. We got those expenses coming out of $7,600, raising that balance up to $15,128.59. And I made a little mistake, so mind me. You're going to come back, and it's going to be different. And I'm back. See that right there? That's what changed. So once we have our income of $11,500 going in, it's going to lower that balance all the way down to $3,628.59. We're going to get charged interest under $100 right now of $94.11, raising that balance up to $3,722.70 at the end of month three. Month four, expenses coming out $7,600. Then the balance is going to go up to $11,322.70. Well, you know what that's under. That's under what our income's been putting in. So we're going to zero that out. Month four, we're done. Already, 4 months, you paid off $15,000 in 4 months. See, that's what I'm telling you. That's why I tell you, this number right here, this cash flow number, is the most important number on the board. Look at $15,000 you paid off in 4 months. You didn't have to change your lifestyle. You only had to change how you were paying your bills. That's all you had to do. You just had to do a little tweak. Use other people's money to pay your bills. That's what you did. That's all you did. And put all your income into the line, driving that interest cost down, and you're paying off debt at the same time at this accelerated rate. 4 months, you paid off $15,000. That quick. $3,900 in in cash flow. Ain't that crazy? So now since we got this paid off, what we gonna do now? Well, we still got this last credit card to pay off, right? So we're gonna repeat the same thing, right? We're gonna pay this off. We're gonna take $10,000 from our line of credit and pay this credit card off, the last one, right? So what is that gonna do? So now that's gonna lower our expenses again, another $400, right? So now we're at 7,200. And then what we gonna do? We gonna get some more cash flow, right? We gonna get some more cash flow. So now, whew, we're gonna get another $400 of cash flow. So I'm just gonna make sure, I'm doing this right in my head. So make sure I'm doing this right. So now we're gonna be at $4,300 in cash flow. $4,300 in cash flow. Whew. So you already know, once you start bumping this cash flow up, you're just gonna start paying down debt even quicker. So now we have $10,000 out, and of course our income is $11,500. So what are we gonna do? So we're just gonna zero this line out. So we're just gonna put our income in of $10,000, and then we're going to have our expenses come out. Now I know that we're going to have $1,500 left, but I'm not even going to factor in that because things like I always say, things happen. You might have something come up, so you got an extra $1,500 that we're not even factoring in this right now. So don't worry about it. So we're going to have our expenses of 7,200 come out. It's going to raise that line back up to 7,200. Then we're going to get charged $125 in interest, right, off of the $10,000. It's going to raise that balance up to $7,325 at the end of month one. So you see this right here? It's flip time because this is way under our income. So we're going to have those expenses come out first of 7,200. It's going to raise that balance up to $14,525. Then we're going to have all of our income going in this month of $11,500. And remember, it's probably going to be a little bit more than this, but because we saved $1,500 on this first chunk, but I'm not even going to factor in that. It's going to lower that balance down to $3,025. $91.56 is the interest, raising that balance up to $3,116.56 at the end of month two. Month three, we have our expenses coming out, raising that balance $10,316.56. You already know what time it is. We're going to zero that out. 3 months. We don't, just $10K. Another 3 months. 4 months here, 3 months there. 3 plus 4 is 7. So we paid off $10,000 here, $10,000 there, and $5,000 there. That's $25,000 you paid off in 7 months. Mm-hmm. So now, since we got these credit cards out the way, now what we gonna do? Now we're gonna attack this brand new Chevy Tahoe, right? This rally sport, the rally sport. So, since it took us 7 months to pay off these 2 credit cards, our balance is going to be around $80,600 because remember, during this whole time, the 7 months, we were making our regular monthly payment of this $1,221. So that's going to put the balance down to $80,600. So we're going to make our first chunk of, we're going to use $15,000 off out of the line, and we're going to make the first chunk. And since we have $7,200 of expenses that's coming out now, and our cash flow is $4,300, I had to do another scenario here, another with the new expenses. Because remember, this $15,000 had the 7,600 as expenses. Now we're down at 7,200. So we're just going to do the exact same thing. So this is going to take us, as you see here, 4 months to pay off. Look at that interest that we're getting charged. $270.17 in interest. $950.88 is going towards the principal during those 4 months. It's going to be more than this. This is just the first month. So as we go down these 4 months, less interest is going to get charged and a little bit more is going to be going towards the principal. So we're going to have our $15,000. We're going to have in month one, we're going to have our income of $11,500 going in, lowering that balance down to $3,500. Now we only have $7,200 in expenses coming out, raising that balance up to $10,700. $187.50 is in the interest. $10,887.50 is the balance at the end of month one. Month two, flip time, since this balance is lower than our income, $7,200. So I'm going to raise that balance up to $18,087.50. Then we're going to have that income going in. It's going to drive that balance down to $6,587.50. $136.09 is the interest balance. $6,723.59 at the end of month two. Month three, we have our expenses coming out, our income going in, interest charge, $84.05. That balance, $2,507.64 at the end of month three. Then month four, we have our expenses coming out, right? Then that's going to be our balance of $9,707.64. That's well under what we've been putting in, right? Into month four, we're done. Another $15,000 chunk is done in 4 months. Isn't that crazy? So what are we gonna do now? We're gonna do another chunk of $15,000 during that 4 months. Well, the first chunk with that $15,000 put our balance down to $65,000. And then during that 4 months, we were still making our monthly payments. So now our balance is going to be around $63,000. Then when we do the second chunk, you see the numbers here. Our interest went down pretty good amount. And now look at what's going towards the principal. $1,022.48 during these 4 months is going to be going towards the principal. And look at the schedule. We're out all the way out till May of 2028. That's going to put the balance down to $48,000. So what are we going to do? We're going to do the exact same thing. So another 4 months is going to go by. It's going to put the balance down to around $45,000. We're going to do another chunk of $15,000. Now it's bumping that schedule out to October of 29. Now we owe around $30,000 on the Tahoe. Look at this right here. Look at that interest, and then look at how much is going towards the principal, starting out for the 4 months. Go through this same scenario for another 4 months. Gonna put the balance around 26,700. Now we're already out to February of 2031. We got $11,700 left after we do that chunk. 4 months go by. Look at that. Look at that interest and principal now. It's like you're barely getting charged any interest. Another 4 months go by. Now the balance is all the way down to $8,400. So that fifth chunk, what are we gonna do? We're gonna pay the car off. We're going to pay this 2025 Chevy Tahoe off. $8,400 left. We're going to pay that off. So now, what we going to do? So we got a lot of credit that's free and clear right now. We got $20K to pay with. So what are we going to do? We're going to take $8,400 of it, right? And since we paid this off, what else is going to happen? Well, we no longer now we no longer have this $1,200 car payment, right? So what's that gonna do? So now this should be like we keep repeating the same process, right? We pay something off, our expenses go down, and then that other sweet number goes up. So now our expenses gonna be car payment less, $5,079. And then now, what we gonna do? We gonna get some more cash flow, right? Right? We gonna get it. So now, now, what's our cash flow gonna be now? It's something crazy, something crazy. Whew, man. Whew. Wow. See that power of cash flow right there? You see that right there? Now you over 5K. That's ridiculous. $5,521 in cash flow. I'm not even gonna waste no time. We're gonna fly through this right now. So we have in month one, we have that 8,400 out, right? We already got to do the flip because this is already less than what we put it in. So I'm just gonna have the expenses, $59.79, come out, raising that balance up to $14,379. Then we're gonna have our income going in, that sweet $11,500, lowering that balance all the way down to $2,879. $179.74 is the interest. $3,058.74 is the balance at the end of month one. Month two, we have $5,979 of expenses coming out, raising that balance up to $9,037.74. You're going to zero that out. End of month two, you're done. That quick. That's it. You paid. You done. I should just stop the video right. Stop the video right now because this don't even make no sense. How fast you can pay? See, that's what I'm saying. What's this cash flow right here? If once you start getting ridiculous with your cash flow, you'll be surprised at how fast you can pay off debt. See, if you were just paying this the traditional way, there's no way that you would have finished paying off this car that quick. We're talking about 18 months. First chunk, 4 months, 4 months, 4 months, 4 months. So 4 times 4, that's 16, plus another 2, 18 months. You paid off an $86,000 vehicle. Mm-hmm. It don't even seem like it's even possible, but all you had to do is just follow these numbers on the board. That's it. That's all this is. You're using other people's money. You're using line of credit as leverage, and then you're dumping all your income in, and then taking what you need out for your expenses. Your cash flow, this sweet cash flow right there, is staying in the line, and that's what's paying it down. That's it. If we just would have been paying the regular car payment like most of us do, like everybody does, like all the people out there, after 25 months, because remember, it took us 18 months to pay off this car, and then it took us another 7 months to pay off the other 2 credit cards. So we're talking about 25 months. You paid off all this. After 25 months of paying just the car payment, you would you would be at around February of 2027, right? $262.47 will you begin charging interest right now. $958.58 will be going towards the principal. And you will still have $63,981.69 left on the principal of this Tahoe. And this is how much interest that you would have paid total on top of the 86 of what it costs. So this would have cost this car would have cost you over $100,000. Mm-hmm. If you just would have paid this doing the regular monthly payments like most people do. Ain't that ain't that crazy? You paid off. You not only paid off the Tahoe, you paid off another 25K in credit cards on top of that in 25 months. Remember this term is for 84 months. You paid off the Tahoe in 18, and then another 7 months with another 25K. That don't make no sense. And then the interest that we got charged, I went ahead and added up all the interest fees. I like to do, see how much we actually got charged in interest. So I added up the interest. And remember, we did this scenario right here, this 15K we did 4 times. So I did this times 4 and then added this interest cost right here. And at most, for the line of credit, you're going to be paying $2,233. And you look at that, he's like, man, that's a big number. But remember, look what we look at this right here. Look what we started, $111,000. So you already know this is peanuts. So what you gonna do? You're gonna go on Google, $2,233. This is what you're gonna type in. $2,233 is what percent of $111,823.50. And you're gonna get a number. I'm just gonna round it up, but you're gonna get a number just under that. But I'm just gonna put this on the board. You actually gonna get like 1.99, but I'm just gonna put 2%. That's it. 2%. This line of credit said 15%. 2%. That's it. And you already know it's gonna be less than that. You already know that. Because I factored in the highest interest that on the highest balance at the beginning of the month on these months. It's gonna be less than that. And I didn't factor in any kind of credit card rewards. So you 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 might end up paying less than 1% interest out of all this. Ain't you borrowing all this money? You used all this and you get charged less than 2% to use all this money. $111,000 you paid off. 2% you got charged in interest. This is the interest game you want to play. You don't want to play this interest game right here, this 15%. You don't want to play this interest game over here, this $15,000. And I went ahead and added up, how much interest you would have paid this whole time, with our monthly payments, and you would have ended up paying another 5,000, around $5,500 in interest, just doing the regular monthly payments as we're paying down this car, this Tahoe, right? So if you add those two together, this 2,000 plus another 5,500, you're around 75. You're around 77, 7,500. Right? If you minus this from that, you end up saving like at least $8,000 in interest Easy. $8,000 that's in your pocket, and you saved all this time because it only took you 25 months to pay all this off instead of 84 months just to pay off the car, just to pay off this Tahoe. And no telling how long it would have took you to pay off these credit cards, just paying these minimum monthly payments, right? This would have took you years. And it don't make no sense you making, this kind of money, you just paying the minimum monthly payments. Like, it doesn't make any sense because you might have money going into investments and you saving money. They have a pretty sizable savings account, so they're saving money. They have money going into savings, the 401ks, all that stuff. All the money going everywhere else except paying off these high interest credit cards and this amortized loans. Even though it says 4.85, that you ain't paying no 4%. This is not 4%. That's not 4%. That's what they tell you. I want to play this interest game right here, 2%. So I just wanted to show you the power of when you have a lot of cash flow and how fast you can pay off debt and you'll get charged a percent like this. Isn't that amazing? And I just ran these numbers. You just see all these numbers I did on the board. I didn't do anything, addition and subtraction. That's all this is. You just had to do a little tweak. You just had to change the way that you pay your bills. That's all you had to do. You just had to open your mind up, expand your mind, try something new, and this is the results you get when you try this foreign concept called velocity banking. This is what it does. You paid off $111,000 in 25 months, and you got a brand new 2025 Chevy Tahoe paid off in 18 months, and you got all your credit card debt, $25,000 of credit card debt, free and clear. Now, only thing you got to do is use one of these credit cards, run your expenses that you can with your credit cards, and pay the bill off every single month and collect them rewards. You know how I feel about them rewards. Use them. Use them to offset these interest costs too if you can. Use them rewards. Don't forget about those. So I just want to thank all of you for watching, and I hope you found some value in today's video. And this is how, this is how you can pay off $100,000 in 25 months. Amazing. So don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment below. And like I always say, get that cash flow.